Hey Happy Crew, HappiDaze here. In today's video, we are reviewing the newest unit that has been announced. Now, we just did a video on Luffy. If you haven't seen it, check it out. That versus unit of Luffy and Kaido is absolutely awesome. Love to see it. Hoping that Yamato and the Momonosuke can be just as good, but let's kind of dig into what their abilities are, and we'll see if they can hold up to the versus unit that we just looked at. So this is the art for the Yamato unit. Absolutely gorgeous artwork. Love it. So let's actually go into what Yamato can do. So as part of her captain ability, she reduces free spirit and cerebral character's special charge time by 2 turns at the start of the quest. Boosts her attack by up to 6.25 based on the number of status effects inflicted on the crew. So you want status effects. The more you get, the higher you can get damage. It is nice that a minimum is 5.75, and then you can go up to the 6.25. Like to see that. And basically it increases 0.1 for every 2 status effects. So you're going to want to have a lot of status effects on your team. That will just help make it much better. If your character is not a free spirit or cerebral, they still get a 5 times attack, which is still respectable. Even though I would have liked to see 5.5, I think now we're kind of at the point where you're starting to see 6.5 captains or units that can get up to 6.5. Like, I think that the base minimum should be 5.5, but 5 times just an okay base attack there. It also makes free spirit and cerebral characters int tandem slots have matching slot effects and makes recovery slots into Wano. So that's interesting. Like I said, what'll be interesting with this unit is that obviously if you want to be able to activate the versus effect of the Luffy unit, who you probably want to pair this unit with because another free spirit character there. If you're to activate that versus effect, you need recovery orbs. But if you have this unit as your captain, then you're not going to be able to get that because your recovery orbs will go into Wano. So I don't think you're going to want to pair up this Yamato unit with Luffy as the captain. Crewmate is a different story, and we'll kind of get into that as we'll get her kit, but I definitely think you won't be having this Yamato be a captain and having a friend captain Luffy, for example, or vice versa. So yeah, just keep that in mind. And then it allows overhealing up to 2 times max HP. So love overhealing. That's always a cool effect to do. Helps make stalling and death hits that much more easier to survive. Like to see that. And again, similar to what Luffy had, if you have 6 free spirit characters on the crew, it gets rid of bind and paralysis for 3 turns. Yeah, so kind of similar to what Luffy was doing, right? He did bind and burn, I believe, and Yamato will do bind and paralysis. Now it's only for 3 turns, so that's kind of a disappointment there, but it is what it is. And if you have 6 cerebral characters on the crew, it gets rid of special verse and despair by 3 turns. So it is interesting that instead of having them get rid of completely, get 10 turns of 2 different debuffs, you can get rid of 3 turns for two debuffs here and then another 2 debuffs with the special verse and the despair. If you have a double Yamato captain, obviously that goes up to 6 for all of those, which is kind of pretty crazy that you can get rid of pretty much 4 effects for most content that's there, and those are pretty annoying debuffs that you have to deal with. So her captain ability, if you to tag her up with another version of herself, would actually be really good. I think they see a lot of utility there in PVE content. So this is what you do in her special. See how that goes. She reduces the duration of a chosen status effect placed on the crew by up to 7 turns. Wow, that's really good. So right, she has the ability to basically get rid of 4 debuffs on her own through her captain ability, and then you can get rid of another one on top of that up to 7 turns. So and you can choose it. That's what's awesome, right? Similar to the waifus that you had out there, who had this kind of similar special ability where you could just choose to get rid of one of the debuffs. So I love that. Like this unit is going to be to provide you a lot of utility. Now, obviously, if you're using her as a crewmate instead of a captain, that goes down slightly because you'll only be able to get rid of 1 specific debuff, whereas if you choose a captain, you get rid of 4 on top of that. But still, being able to get rid of 1 chosen debuff is actually really cool and really a unique effect that I like there. She also boosts attack based on damage reduction effect applied on the crew. So it gives an example here. If you have 80% damage reduction, you get 1.8 attack boost there. So similar to other Yamato units that have been there, which is good. You like to see that. And that is for 1 turn. And then if 6 free spirit characters are on the crew, it boosts free spirit characters' attack by 3.25 and slot effects by 1.75. So yeah, that's awesome. That basically a attack and slot boost or boost there. That is kind of awesome on top of the utility that she can provide. Teaming her up with probably the Luffy unit, you can get some of those buffs increased through his captain ability and things like that. So overall, like this unit is going to be really good as a crewmate under the Luffy unit that's there. And of course, you can overwrite this as well, which is good. You like to see things like that. And if crew has damage reduction except the threshold, and the healing stats at the same time when the special is launched, extends the duration of some of those buffs by 2 turns. So interesting, you can kind of extend your damage reduction that you get. So a lot of annoying death hits been happening in a lot of the content recently, right? In stage 2, there'll be death hits, or even in stage 3. So now if you have a unit who gives you like a 1 or 2 turn rainbow shield, this will extend that out by 2 turns, which actually could help you really get some survivability there. So I actually kind of really like that. It's interesting, it's unique, just based on some of the content that we've had recently. I think that'll be kind of very helpful going forward. And of course, how they expect you to build this unit is either with a full team of free spirit or a free team of cerebral, right? So what I just mentioned applies if you have 6 free spirits. On the flip side, if you have 6 cerebral units on the crew, it boosts the type effects 3 times for 1 turn, and further gives you an attack boost and slot boost 0.25. So obviously I think the free spirit version of her has a lot more utility from what I can see here. Just the fact that you can extend that rainbow shield is super helpful, right? Especially with a lot of the recent content that's there. Type effects are okay. That's a moderately good boost at 3 times. But yeah, I definitely think the free spirit buff is a little bit better. So I think you'll probably see her used more in that capacity than you're going to see in the cerebral capacity there. So let's take a quick look at what she can actually do here. So we already took a look at her special and her abilities, her special ability and her captain ability. So let's just take a look at her crewmate ability. So if the field is territory, free spirit class, or cerebral class, it reduces the free spirit and cerebral character's special bind, despair by 3 turns. Wow, that's actually really good. You team her up with the new, this unit was definitely made for the new Luffy. Like the fact that he can give the territory free spirit through his special, and then with that you can then just basically get a free special bind despair reduction by 3 turns. And even if you don't have that, you still end up getting special bind by 3 turns. So that as a crewmate ability is really good. I'm actually really impressed with what they did. And you can kind of tell they're trying to get people to pull both. And then lastly, if the field has a territory free spirit class or territory cerebral class, adds 0.2 to the chain multiplier. It's whatever. 0.2 is not like a huge amount. It's not going to be a huge noticeable difference, but it's still a little bit of extra damage there. So she has fantastic crewmate ability just because of that first ability that she had there. Let's take a look at the support effect that she has. So it goes to int type free spirit and cerebral characters, and if they use a special, gives you a 30% damage rainbow shield for your side for 1 turn and gives you like a 3k heal. It's okay. It would have been nicer if that was more like 60, 70, 80, somewhere in that range. But it is what it is. It just gives you kind of a damage reduction support effect there. Let's look at the EX Super. The good news is it only takes 3 units to activate, and it looks like it's a pretty expansive amount of units. A lot of the Straw Hat characters, some of the worst generation, some of the Wano units there. Interestingly, they didn't have any of the Scabbards or anything like that on here. So that was kind of an interesting choice, but as long as you have any of the units kind of listed here, at least 3 of them, then basically it gives you your damage reduction 80%, right? So this is what they want you to be able to get, use the EX Super to get the damage reduction, then you get the attack boost based on that damage reduction. So you can kind of see exactly what they're going to go for. So it helps you get that. Heals crew by 10k HP at the end of turn for 1 turn. It's kind of okay. Just gives you a little bit of a heal. And then gives super type effects for 3 turns. Ooh, so that's actually really interesting. Because, yeah, that's a good amount of turns, so you can bring that into, use it on a stage 2, and still actually have, a bunch of buffs on stage 3 for your super type characters. So I actually kind of really like that, especially the 3 turns. That definitely allows you to use it on a stage 2 type situation. So that'll definitely be helpful and definitely be used. And then gives a 20% heal on top of that. Changes free spirit to super free spirit and cerebral to super cerebral. So yeah, like your EX special is really good. A lot of these units are really good units that have a lot of varying copies. So it should be no problem at all to slot 3 on here that match that match that condition to be able to kind of do the most damage there. So I like it. Her EX Super is really good. She has a Rush Sugo, So you only need 2, which is even better. Same kind of characters that were there before. There's a condition where if the character slot is recovery, tandem, and wano, and the character performs the first tap of an attack. So obviously it's only a first tap Sugo Rush that's there. Yeah, so let's see what it can. We can't actually see the multipliers, but it looks like it can go up to 2.0, which is it's okay. We'll see like how much HP it drains per tap there. But overall, like it looks okay. Like I can't complain too much about it. Like I said, I like that the activation requirements aren't that high with only having 2 characters there. And yeah, we'll have to see how it goes. The tricky part is getting the recovery, tandem, and wano orb on the character. But, you know, like I said, the fact that she can change recovery orbs into wano, and some of the other units can kind of help you there. It won't be impossible to do it, but it'll be interesting to see how we kind of do there. So that's all her PvE stats. So, like, as a PvE monster, like she's awesome. Like I would say, like she's even better in PvE than probably the Luffy that the versus Luffy that we just reviewed. Now the fact that you get Luffy and Kaido, I think, still makes them the better choice out of them or Yamato. But her PvE abilities are solid. So if you like just pull for her, like I could completely understand why someone would do that. Makes perfect sense. So yeah, let's just take a look at her PvP abilities, see if they're any better. Hopefully she got some good abilities here. So let's look at her Rebel abilities first here. So in Type's Rebel classmates, HP up 6, attack up 6, speed up 6, defense up 6. That's a crazy amount of buffs, right? And they just had the Incerebral team that just came out that they've really been kind of pushing, right, with like the Atlas, with the Vegapunk, with the Luffy. And you can see those teams in my last PvP video for Grand Party. Like, this just makes that team so much better. Like, the only thing that could have possibly made this better would be like a special CT increase as well. But she really like hits on a bunch of different awesome stat boosts there. So I definitely like her stat boosts. And then what makes her so broken here on PvP is this: when Self is KO'd, launches the Rumble special 1 time. So you're probably like, what the heck is this? When does this KO effect happen? And I'm going to show you why, because it's actually pretty insane what's happening here. So if you actually look at her Pirate Rumble special, so first it is a super high CT at 40. It's gonna be tough to actually activate this outside of her dying to trigger this. But if you can, it actually gives like a really crazy, nasty hit. So you can see it basically targets enemies with large range, attack down 15, speed down 15, defense down 15 for 20 seconds. Like, that are huge stat drops, which is why it's at such a high threshold that you see there. And then you target 2 high attack enemies for 7,500 damage. Insane. There's no unit that does more than, I think 5,000 might be the top out for terms of fixed damage that units can do today in Pirate Rumble. So this just blows that out of the way. It gives you 7,500 fixed damage against 2 targets. So if you can get this off and then she dies, like, you're gonna be taking out like half the team herself. Like, this Pirate Rumble special is insane for what it can do. And then activates Provoke on Self, so she's going to pretty much encourage people to kill her. If you get this off, people are going to kill her because they're going to be going after her, and then she's just going to kick off the special again. So literally, within the span of 20 seconds, you could literally have level 30 down for these attributes and do basically 4 hits of 7,500k damage. Like, that's nuts. I love it. I think that this special is amazing. And then when the rain HP is 1% or below, targets one enemy with a high HP for 100% HP reduction. So that's where she basically does the kamikaze death hit. So yeah, if you do get the special off without dying, you get the 2 hits at 7,500, and then if you get killed, it auto activates because of the normal ability and gets the kamikaze attack as well as additional hit. So yeah, this is going to be a monster to come up with PvP. I think it's going to be really tough on teams with her because she's going to take out a lot of people herself. So yeah, but I love it. Like, I think that is such a unique ability, the kamikaze event that she has, that I'm on board. I like it. I'm sold. But let's check her GP stats, see if you actually use her in Grand Party. So she gets cerebral class teammates attack HP level 7, special CT up, so that's what I was about CT up being beneficial. And then gives Dex int type teammates HP, speed, and defense up level 3. It's okay. It's a bunch of stat boosts. You don't see many pure cerebral teams out there, so it's going to be tough to kind of team her up there. Obviously, a lot of Dex and int teams going in the last couple of seasons with the new int Luffy that's out there. So it's just okay. Like the GP a leader skill doesn't blow me away. It just kind of is what it is. So let's see if her GP burst is any better. You have to only get 15,000 damage, which is literally nothing. You could do it 5 times. Okay, so yeah, you could. Wow, this is actually pretty crazy. You can target one enemy with high special CT for HP 200% reduction. Not a typo. So I think what they're trying to do here is obviously on things like revives. You have Zoro, you have Luffy. Now you have the new Brook who can just revive anyone as well. There's going to be cases where you can just literally take out enemies. So 15,000 is like nothing in terms of damage, right? So you could literally just keep tapping and be able to take out, either one team, almost a full squad yourselves, and that's without even doing the kamikaze part of this. Or you could, break it up and maybe do like two kills on first battle and 3 kills on the second or third battle, something like that. So it just gives you a lot of really cool ability to kind of work around what you want to do there. So from a GP perspective, like she blows away Kaido, who I thought was even pretty good. Absolutely blows away Luffy. Like she is god tier for PvP. Like I think she's going to be really awesome. Not for Grand Party. Like you might see some use for her. I don't think you'll see her use all the time, but I think just the fact that she has the kamikaze attack there, and the ability to hit for 7,500 fixed damage to 2 enemies, that's awesome. That's really good. Like I said, the burst is interesting on Grand Party. Could definitely see some uses for it. I just don't know long term if it'll have the longevity of some of the other GP burst leaders that are currently running the meta out there. So that is going to wrap it up for the Yamato unit. I think do we have our ink effect here? This is what the ink effect looks like. Not as good as Kaido and Luffy in my opinion, but still pretty solid. So this is the second of the 3 that we're reviewing today. I'll probably have a video out tomorrow reviewing the Momonosuke and how he's doing. I just wanted to have a chance to kind of really dig in what he does. And in case you didn't know, by the time this video comes out, the next season of Grand Party is going to be out, so I'm just trying to get that done as well. That way I can get a video out for you guys on the Grand Party, how the first day went. Now, people, you get refreshes, retries, things on the first day. So no pressure there to win, but I want to get a couple of videos out there. So thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know if you're pulling for either Luffy or Kaido or Yamato. Which one do you like better? Who do you think is better in PvP versus PvE? And, are you going for the waifu or are you going for the big boys there? Love to hear from you guys. And until next time, be kind to each other.